Something I found interesting we're still fucking in it. The pandemic is very specific to well, not just my job, but a lot of people's jobs when it has to do with kids and stuff. Is a lot of parents found out they really don't like having kids, and it shows. And it specifically shows in the fact that, like, we got this thing going on now where a lot of people are like, well, these kids, like, I work at a private school, I've mentioned that several times, but, like, I keep hearing this phrase, like, these COVID kids, like, they don't know how to use the utensils very well because they were at home for so long. They don't know how to socialize because they were at home for so long. They're feral. No. So, okay, if your kids were home for, let's say, 6 months or whatever, which was the most I think anybody is here for any time in the U.S., if you were at home with your kids and you weren't teaching them basics, like how to peel an apple, how to peel a banana, how to use a spoon, how to use a fork. These are things that schools can help reinforce or get the notion started, but these are things that parents need to be the primary zone, because like we are with these kids so long, and kids are in school way more than they should be. And the only reason why nobody goes after shorter times in schools for kids is one, schools in the United States are conditioned to get kids to use the work hours. It's a psychological thing. Don't tell me it isn't. It fucking is. And they're never going to get them to change in the United States. I don't think it'll take a lot to get them to change, because you're not going to get them to also change workplace hours, which should be lower. So, kids shouldn't be getting homework. It's ridiculous that they're getting homework. It's ridiculous the amount of work they have on weekends. But like I said, that's conditioning for schools. Another topic for another time, probably. But back to what parents, like, during the pandemic, like, we do have a lot of kids who, because they were at home during a certain time and not with us, they didn't learn basic serving skills, and they didn't learn basic dining skills and stuff like that. But to the degree they don't know, shows that they never did it anywhere besides us. Ever. And schools should never be the primary place for such things, for kids to learn. They need to be learning this stuff at home too. If they don't, I've seen it over and over again. If you have a situation where the kid even wants to learn something, and we're really helping him, if it's not being helped at home, if it's not being like moved along and nurtured at home, we might as well not be doing anything. And I say this, like I've said over and over again, I work at a private school. These are not parents who are in situations where both of them's working full time, they're never at home, the kids are latchkey kids or anything like that. Well, but what it is a situation of where we came out of the pandemic with two things that I think is kind of funny, but it also makes me turn my head. One, a lot of people found out they didn't like their fucking significant other. They found out when they actually had to spend some time with them. And people also they didn't like having kids. They liked having somebody else raise their kids most of the time. School activities, after school activities, before school activities. And when they didn't have that, they actually found out what it's like for poor parents that can't afford all that stuff and have to raise their kids. That's the biggest thing. And to end this, I know a lot of people talk about all these ways for kids to learn good fine motor skills and the motor controls and stuff like that. One of the biggest that they can learn at is serving food. Learn how to use tongs and learn how to use spoons, learn how to portion that stuff is very important for the growth of a kid, I think, for them to be able to use tools later and everything else. But that's just my opinion.